Today my voice feels like George Takei because it is very low, very resonant, and has that deep vocal fry at the end. Oh my. I don't know why my voice is like this. I am very sick today, I suppose, so my voice is deep. Not only is it deep, I also noticed that I think with some people when they get sick, their range just expands because it goes lower, but they still have the higher parts to some degree. But I don't really have that. If I try and do the falsetto, if you don't know what falsetto means, it's basically when a guy makes their voice go really high to sound like a girl, but it's not as pronounced and powerful as the normal voice is. And here's my falsetto today. I have no idea why I can't do it. That was weird. My voice like tried to crack, but it didn't. So it just like stagnated. Like that, like stagnated. I don't know what I did there, but my voice is not in a very good, happy place right now. I don't know why that is. And my hair is wet because I just came from the shower. Do you ever feel like you are just wasting away your days? You are wasting away your life. Like every day passes and you start to feel more and more anxiety-ridden because you're not accomplishing goals, but you're not sure what those goals are or what they're supposed to be. They say that hindsight is 20/20. Like you look back at something and you can see exactly what was happening, exactly how it played out, and exactly how you wanted it to go. And I feel like that's how it goes in my life. There are plenty of instances where I feel like something good should have happened, or I could have done something that was good, but either I was too afraid or too oblivious to notice that it was going on at the time. So I didn't act on it, and I just missed out. The funny thing is, when you miss out on a great opportunity and you feel bad about it, not only are you forced to think about it, thus making yourself feel worse, but you're also so preoccupied with that you have very little chance excuse me. You have very little chance to notice new opportunities because you're too busy focusing on the past. And I think people like focusing on the past because it gives them a certain amount of security. There's security because you went through the past and you know that it will not kill you, basically. You'll get out okay, even if something traumatic happened. Like if someone does something horrifically embarrassing in 7th grade and they just feel terrible about themselves. You're still going to be able to survive from that because for whatever reason you went through it and you're okay. You're at least semi-functioning unless if you're just a total mess. Like you're just destroyed in life. If that's the case, then there's not much hope for you. But beyond that, I don't see a major problem with looking to the future. I think that's a very important thing to do. But the funny thing about saying you need to look to the future is it's something that everybody understands. Nobody's like, yes, we need to look to the past all the time. Obviously, the past is a good reference for how things will go in the future, but you have to look to the future. It's not me giving some great revelation, though. It's like saying that you need to be in shape and healthy. And if you're 200 pounds overweight, it's a good idea to lose weight. Obviously, what I'm saying is true, but it's not some grand revelation to you. Because if you are 200 pounds overweight, odds are you know that you need to lose the weight. Unless you're one of these crusaders for Tumblr who says that everything you say is discriminatory or insulting, or you just not appreciating their true colors. It's okay to be overweight, but at a certain point it begins to impact your health, and the only reason why you should be making these changes is because you recognize that it is a problem for you. You recognize that it is starting to impact your life and your health. That is my opinion anyway. People... God, I'm not doing very well today because I keep going on tangents and then I forget what I'm saying midway. I was talking about looking to the future, or saying you need to look to the future, but people look to the past. That's not me bringing new news to anybody, though. Everybody knows this. Everybody is aware of this. It's just a matter of getting off your ass and doing it. And I think this is why people hate when you tell them to do it, because A, you're not giving them new information, and B, you're forcing them to confront something scary that they already know is there, and they already know is scary. They just don't want to deal with it because it's too much for them to handle. And that is a terrifying idea, I'll give them that, but that doesn't give you an excuse to avoid it. The only problem is it's different to intellectually realize something and then actually physically do it. I think physically doing things is more important than intellectually realizing it, in a certain way. Intellectually realizing an idea is important because if you just do the thing, you can be doing something that is very negative for you. For example, if you feel like school is very institutionalized, so you take the action of dropping out, you may spend the rest of your life flipping burgers or being a waitress at some sketchy diner. And you're not going to have the same career opportunities as you would have. But if you stay in college, you just say that you're going to stay in college and think about things too long, you're forced to declare a major, maybe it's not a good one, and you can't find a career and you're in the same position. It's just weird. It's like there's no one way to succeed at life. There really is no way to succeed at life. The only way to succeed at life is to have that perfect balance, and people don't naturally have it. It's a skill that we have to learn, and it's so scary because if you screw it up, you're not going to be in the right position. You'll either be a man who just acts but doesn't think, in which case you'll get yourself in a lot of bad situations where you'll probably get hurt, or you'll be like me and you think about things too much but you can't act on them. It's about finding that balance, and I find that's the truth in the majority of cases. It's not about having one thing or the other. There's no one way that is good and the other that is evil. It's about having a balance of all things, and balance is extremely hard to achieve. You can just go head first forever and ever, but knowing when to stop, when to say that you've achieved the maximum output is very difficult to do. And that's why I have difficulty in my life. Like, I can sit around and read all day, but in terms of if I actually learn something or grow or become a better reader, that's not necessarily true. Do you have that experience where you sit down and you read several chapters of a book and then you sit back and say, what did I just read? What have I been doing for the past hour? I don't remember any of this. I think that's a bit of what I'm talking about. I don't know. I don't even know. Oh, look, my falsetto's coming back. Well, maybe I'm talking is warming it up. Who knows? Maybe it'll be beautiful by the time I'm done ranting. I don't know how long I'll rant. Last video was 15 minutes long, and people seem to enjoy that. So I'll probably make this one 15 minutes as well. Exactly, it was 15 minutes to the second, and I'm pretty proud of myself for that. Reminds me of, several months ago I made a video about marijuana, and it happened to be 4 minutes and 20 seconds long. And of course, that was all anybody could comment on, is the length of the video. Oh, look, it's marijuana, and it's 4 minutes and 20 seconds long. Like, yeah, I planned that, sure. It's funny to keep it in check. People used to have to do that on YouTube. They used to have to make sure that their videos were 10 minutes long, or 11 minutes long, or 15 minutes long, or 15 minutes and 30 seconds long, because there were the time limits, and if you went over that, YouTube would not accept your video. I think that's an interesting case of a skill that's lost, that doesn't matter that it's lost. Because nowadays, people just make a video as long as they want. I mean, I made that Q&A video that was almost an hour and a half, and virtually no one watched it. So in a sense, I think that policy of not having too long videos is good, because it's going to encourage people to post long videos that nobody's going to watch, and it's just YouTube wasting their bandwidth. I find that if you're going to upload something that's long, it's better to upload it in several parts, because A, you have a better idea of audience retention, because if I have one video and it gets 10,000 views, I may just think that 10,000 people watched it, but if I upload it in 3 parts, and then 10,000 people watch part 1, 5,000 watch part 2, and then 2,000 watch part 3, I know that at most only 2,000 people went through. So it's better for audience retention, which means if you have ads, you get a higher CPM rate, which means you get paid more. Money is always good. And it also just means that you're being more considerate to your audience. So in a number of ways, I think that being able to control that is a good thing, but it's a skill that we've lost. Nobody on YouTube really limits themselves to a certain length of videos anymore, unless if they just have a type of video that is naturally short. I see this all the time, because I see plenty of gamers, I see plenty of Minecrafters, I see plenty of Call of Dutyers. They make duty, I guess. Oh, I'm funny. I'm like a 6-year-old making humor. I'm so funny. But people just make a video and they throw it on YouTube. And I'm the last one to ever criticize anyone over this, because I used to edit my videos a bit, and I just stopped because it was too much work and it was easier to not edit. So that is the case. But I do think that people, while a lot of people like myself who lived in an era where we had YouTube videos that were, for the most part, kept under that limit, I think that, so I'm going to be bothered by it. I think most people just don't notice it, because it's a problem that we perceive because we had a solution to it that we perceived. But now that it's gone, we're just assuming that this horrible thing is going to happen. But it doesn't. It reminds me of, like how I made that PewDiePie sucks video. I also have an older video called Total Halibut Sucks. And it wasn't exactly the same thing, but I got the same number of the types of comments, people insulting me without watching the video. And one thing one person told me is I shouldn't be uploading to YouTube. I actually talked about this on a main channel video, but I'm already on the tangent, so I'll go anyway. People, like this person was telling me that I shouldn't be uploading to YouTube because my videos are bad. And I told him, like, hey, I'm allowed to. That's supply and demand. And he said, no, you're not, because it's not supply and demand. You're not really selling ads because your channel is too small. You can't do anything with it. But the thing is, it's not YouTube's job, or your job, or my job to determine what video is good or bad. The video is determined as being good or bad by if people watch it. And of course, that's obviously a great oversimplification, because if someone has a large subscriber base, they're going to have people watching them, even if it's not necessarily a good video, or if they're not a good video creator. Or if you can have someone who's great, who has very few subscribers, for whatever reason, and they just don't get those views. So that can happen as well. So, as an oversimplification, but if I have terrible views, terrible videos, then whenever someone comes across my videos, they're just going to walk on by. Or maybe there's absolutely nothing differentiating about my videos and nobody watches them in the first place. I mean, if I just start making random Call of Duty videos, odds are people are not going to watch them. And why are they not going to watch it? Because there's so many other Call of Duty players that you can watch. And at least if you watch one of the bigger ones, then you have several other people who watch it, and there's a sense of community there. The only, in my opinion, the only way to really become a successful gamer on YouTube now is if you have a successful channel from another place, and then you can plug that audience into your gaming channel. Because you have to have a reason for them to come to your gaming channel. If it's like having comedy skits or vlogs where you talk about a topic, or a tutorial, talking about makeup, talking about movie reviews, or whatever it is for the most part, there's something unique about you that can draw people in. But if you just like, oh, this is Let's Play New Super Mario Bros. Wii U Part 30, like, why does anybody care about that? There's going to be several other playthroughs of that video. Why would they care about you? Well, because they follow you on other sites. They have to have somewhere to care about you from, and that's how it works, through YouTube channels. So I don't understand people who just start gaming nowadays and they expect something to come of it. I mean, if you look at people who are just gamers and that's it, the majority of them started years ago when it was still a new and open niche, because you couldn't become a partner with it, you couldn't make money off of it, so the majority of people weren't that interested in doing it. There were very few people, and they found a bit of community. And they may not be as big as they used to, but for the most part that rings true. If you're one of the pioneers in the field, then you're going to get more recognition for it, and you're going to have more popularity for it. There's just a certain value that people hold to being one of those first ones, or being one of the genuine ones. People love someone who they perceive as genuine, but I never understood that, because if someone is genuine or ingenuine, what does it matter? Are you talking about the video being genuine or ingenuine? Because if you see someone, if you see a video that seems real to you, then that's obviously going to hold value to you, but that doesn't necessarily, whether the person is real or not, doesn't necessarily impact the quality of the video, because the video can still be decent. You just don't care about. It's like when people talk about, are YouTubers just making their videos for the money? In my opinion, that doesn't matter. If the video is good, you can enjoy it, and if it's not, then you don't have to watch it. It doesn't matter whether they're a sellout or not. So I don't understand why people try and determine these motives behind YouTubers. I mean, if they are just sellouts and you watch their videos and you think that they're terrible, then there's no need to watch them. You don't need to watch them, you don't need to check them out, you don't need to subscribe. And it just sort of naturally worked itself out. I just think a lot of people try and control things and make things happen, when it could just work out by doing nothing. It would just naturally rise. Like, if this person is a sellout, then they're even if they have a big audience from YouTube featuring them on the homepage, they're going to deteriorate over time. And they're just going to be obscure again. That's what happens if you're not good in keeping it fresh. And if you are keeping it fresh, and even if you have the big audience, then if they deteriorate, you're going to get new audience along the way. I just think that oftentimes things can happen naturally without us putting work into it. Alright, let's see if the falsetto is back. Well, I guess I'm a velociraptor, Or pterodactyl, if that counts. Yay.